And I'm Steve from OUYABrew.com. Thank you guys for joining us for the OUYAcast and a very special Happy Mother's Day to all of you moms out there who are totally not listening to this because, you got more important things to do. However, just in case, Happy Mother's Day. Tell me about it. That's like less than a loaded griller at Taco Bell, man. That's not all, Johnny. Mm-hmm. That's right.
What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you?
So thanks
Derek
for
cut
having
out.
me again.
So, oh, go ahead, Brandon. Sorry. Well, I was gonna say, did we have do we have anything else to talk about? Because I didn't want to interrupt him whenever we get started on this. So, I don't really know. Oh, that rumor. Which rumor is that? It is, man. That's the big news. So Ouya is apparently what's going on, and of course, this is all due to a leaked email. Leaked is being used, of course, lightly here, but the email pretty much came from Julie, and the long and short of it is that they're basically just trying to recover themselves from being in debt, and I think the email specifically says that they're trying to recover investor capital. So they're essentially selling off and trying to get their money back for the people who invested in it. So yeah, it's sad news to say the least, but it's even sadder because nobody really knows what's going to happen next. What do you think? Hmm. What do you What would you like to see happen? How about that? Hmm. Well, here's my concern about that. So the one thing that's always been such a key to the Ouya is the community. And yes, the community is made by the people. And I know that, just because the Ouya might be sold to somebody, that doesn't mean that the community is going to go away. However, when you have, it's one thing to have a community in of themselves, like, make forums and things of that nature. But when you don't have the actual owners behind it, the way like Jared and basically Bob and all of them have been there for the Ouya community, it makes it very difficult to continue that fellowship. So my concern is, right, they're gonna sell off, and whoever buys them out is gonna kind of just be like, yeah, whatever, and then next thing the whole fun side of the Ouya, which is the community, is gone. So that's my concern.
Wow. Put me on the spot here. Yeah. I think I really do want them to get bought and get a maybe a rebrand going, and you know, come out with some sort of not so much the name, because I really like the Ouya name a lot, and I think that that sort of sticks with the community well. But I do think that maybe they do need either a new console or a completely reworked interface, something to make it more approachable for, like, not so much indie developers, but maybe more like AAA stuff. That way it'll become more of a household name to, like, the consumer. But yeah, I mean, you can't really. I don't think you can deny that the Ouya community is like one of the coolest communities ever. With everybody has their own feedback on games that people are creating and everything, and there's a lot of collaboration going on. It really is like more of a developer's console than anything now, and I think that they need to focus more on the consumer than the developer now. That's pretty much it. Yeah, yeah,
Well, my thing though is, if you start tailoring towards the consumer base and not the developer, there's a couple of things here. Like I said, that sense of community kind of does get lost. And I'll give you a perfect example, right? Let's look at PlayStation. Okay, they have indie section, as well as, I believe, so does a 360. I'm not really sure, but they have an indie section, and it's basically, it's just like, the Google Play Store or the iOS app store. You're a developer, you make your game, you put it on there, that's it, and end of story. And I would hate to see Ouya become that. If Google buys them up and says, hey, this is now the Google interface, and you make your game, you put it on there, maybe you'll get a comment on the page that hosts your game or whatever, but there's no real good feedback unless you're happen to be on the same forum as the particular developer of that game. So I don't know. I just kind of, I would hate to see them lose that uniqueness that is the community. And I think that focusing on consumers and not so much the developers is going to lose that. And hopefully they'll figure out a nice balance, whoever buys it, if it does get bought, of course. So that's my thought on it.
it's pretty good. Well, what do you want to know? Like from the beginning of Gulag, how it started?
Let's start with a synopsis of the game. Tell us what it's about.
Well, I like history, so I wanted to make a story about like like the Russian snipers from World War II, the female Russian snipers. So basically, I took that and I said, well, what if one of the female snipers was in a gulag and had to escape, like post World War II? Because I think a lot of Russians were actually sent to those gulags, for wrongful prosecution and stuff like that. So that was sort of the idea. Basically, it was kind of like a flip on the Wolfenstein type of game. Like, yeah, you're escaping from a prison. You don't belong there. Uh, I wanted the bolt action rifle to be sort of a core component to the game, and that she uses that. That's like basically Mega Man has his blaster, and you know Simon Belmont has a whip, so she has a bolt action rifle. That's like her main weapon. So basically, you're running through this prison, and you're trying to sneak around guys and blast a bunch of sentries. So pretty cool, I guess.
So, what exactly is a gulag? I'm not familiar with that term.
Basically, they were like I don't want to say like a concentration camp, but they were basically like a very very strict, like no holds barred prison that Russia had, like a bunch of them. Soviet Russia had a bunch of them, and the prisoners there, they were treated pretty roughly, and they were pretty much forced to work. If they didn't work, they you know didn't get fed, and very very rough living environments. But some people were there because some people were there for no reason, and I just thought that that would have been an interesting topic to put in the game.
Hmm.
So that's basically what a gulag is. I noticed that earlier when you guys mentioned it. I think it was like a couple of episodes ago. You didn't know whether it was gulag or gulag or gula, and yeah, I didn't really know too many people like didn't know about gulags and everything. I thought that people were as interested in Russia as I was, and like Russian World War II history and stuff like that. So I'm using the libgdx framework. So basically, that handles all the graphics calls and all the the controller API and all that stuff, and it gives me more flexibility with the physics in the game and how I want the game to be controlled. I didn't want to use an actual physics engine. I wanted to make my own. So that is why I use libgdx. A lot of other engines, they don't really give you too much flexibility around that. So I thought it would be a good pick for Ouya. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you do have the option. You can use like they do have like an off the shelf like engine included box or whatever. But I don't know. I with the retro feel of everything, I just wanted to be in control of all of that. So I try to avoid that, even though it would have been simpler to make, I think.
Well, I really enjoy the physics on this. It's pretty cool. When you're shooting a guy and he goes flying backwards, I think that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, yeah. I'm kind of sort of tweaking that now. Figuring out like if that's a little too ridiculous or not, like how the enemies just blow back after each shot.
Oh, I
Uh,
love it, man.
yeah.
I want to feel that pain. I want them to, you know, I don't know. I like it when they go flying. I don't know. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's fun. I actually had a couple of comments on that with some of my some of my friends that I work with, they commented on that. They're just like that. Yeah, that's my favorite feature. I'm like, oh, geez, that wasn't even like that was like a an afterthought, really, to put that in. Yep.
So I got a question. Oh, there it is. Never mind. I just figured it out. I was gonna say on the target level, how the heck do you hit those ones above the thing? But I figured it out. The
Yeah, yeah,
bouncy,
yeah. It
the
forces
bouncy ones
you.
there.
Yeah. So yeah, that I wanted to make that sort of a learning experience for the player because you kind of need that later in other levels. Spoiler alert.
So the 9 levels, how many were you planning on putting in here to the game?
That's a good question. I can't answer that question. I don't really know what I'm doing with the level selection yet because like I said, it's the unfinished edition, so I don't know if any of these levels will even be final. I'm sort of experimenting with, what situations could you possibly be in the game, and given that and given feedback, I might just change the game completely.
So you're thinking that this is more of just kind of a test run where you're just uh, uh, planning out a few things and seeing how it goes over.
Yeah, I really didn't even think people would play it, to be honest with you. But I mean, the feedback definitely helps that I get on this game, and that's why I'm sort of trying to talk in the forums and everything about like what I should add in the next update. I was gonna do weekly updates on it, but I just don't have a lot of time to work on it per week, so I don't know, I gotta pick and choose when I want to release another update.
Do you have anybody helping you with this, or is it just you?
It's just me. I drew out all the sprites in this game, and I did all the programming. The only thing I didn't do was was actually my brother. And there is more tracks. There is more music I'm gonna throw in there. It's already done. I just gotta figure out what levels I want to apply them to.
Well, that's pretty cool. So what'd you draw the sprites with? Just
There's actually a cool program. I think it's called A Sprite, and yeah, I think it's like ASE Prite. I'll actually put a thing in the chat. But it's a very good like pixel editing tool, and I use it a lot. I'm not so much of a pixel artist, but I decided to, I wasn't going to get an artist anytime soon, so I figured I would just do it myself. But
all right.
yeah, yeah. But I figured it's really useful. I would recommend it for anybody that is doing their indie game and they need a quick way to make some sprites, draw out everything.
So what kind of games did you play? Growing up that made you decide to get involved in this whole crazy world of indie developing?
See, it's weird because I'm not really as old as people would expect me to be, but I have played like a lot of the like I played like NES a lot, and I played like a lot of the older games quite a bit because I was given like hand me downs and everything from my brothers. So whenever they got a new console, I would get like the old like crappy one, and that's a good thing though because I got to play like Nintendo and everything. I was born in '89, so this was like the mid '90s when like PlayStation was coming out, and I was still rocking the Nintendo and stuff. So
Oh, it's not bad. I mean, 89, at least you were in the right grade. So,
yeah,
I mean, the 70s were okay for video games. That's where it all started, kind of thing. But the 80s are really where, all the good stuff came out. So,
yeah. I actually still have my Atari too. I still have my Atari 2600 in my closet. Every once in a while, I bring that out. That's
Well, if
pretty
not, you
fun
can
too.
always emulate it.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, actually, I must say that the Ouya emulation is just fantastic, and it's very hard to get like a NES on like your HD TV and make it look decent. So like a lot of times I'm like, oh, I want to play this, but it looks terrible, so I'll put it on the Ouya and play it that way.
Heck yeah. Uh, what your favorite NES game? I just got to know.
My favorite NES game of all time is Castlevania One.
Really? Why is that?
Yep. I have no idea. You know, it's funny. I don't know because like that game is very frustrating, and I don't think I haven't beaten it yet. It's like I don't know what it is about it. I think it's the whole thing, like the how the dark premise of it, and like the music is great, and I like the art in that game. I don't know. I just played it a lot, when I was young, and still haven't beaten it to this day. But that's actually where the blowback came from in this game. Like when you get shot, you get knocked back. It's from like Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden, like that frustrating knockback that like annoys a lot of gamers. Like I wanted to keep that in there.
And there you have it. That's exactly why we ask those kind of questions. See,
Yeah.
because if you didn't probe into that, we would have never known that. And that's
Yep.
what makes a game unique.
Yep. I would have just kept it secret.
Nice.
I guess yeah. This is like technically my first game. I've always like program games. I mean, I did my own like little like crappy prototypes here and there. I was always like programming. I've been programming since I was like maybe 16. But I don't know. I never really released anything because it's like it's like trash. I don't I don't want to like throw my people's faces. I want to actually make like a product, and that's sort of where this game is going. But I don't really know what people would like to see in the game, so I wanted to sort of make this like a community experiment, and that's the whole, the unfinished thing. That's why it's not finished.
Well, so we've learned not to take out the blowback feature. So now we're gonna have to figure out things to add to it.
Well, I
Uh,
will say this. It's funny you say it because, like, in the forum, somebody commented they wanted a way to like knock somebody from up close, like a melee attack. They commented that in the forum. I don't know who the guy's name was. I'd have to look it up. But yeah, they wanted a melee in the game, so you could just like stab somebody up close, and I added that. So that's going to be in the next update. Actually, when you click the right stick, you could actually knife somebody, like Call of Duty. Yeah.
you know what? I mean, depending on the level design, I also noticed there's one part where you like are hopping over like three guys down below you, and like they're all just shooting at you at the same time, and basically like
Yep.
I don't know, can't seem to get past that part yet. But Um, one thing I noticed is that when one guy hits another guy, like if you blow him back hard enough and he, overlaps another sprite, I was kind of wishing that at that moment they would knock the other guy down at least temporarily because I was thinking, oh man, that'd be so sweet. It would buy me an extra second to reload. And
I
there's the airplane that flies
actually,
by every podcast.
yeah, I find that funny that you say that too because I actually had that before I even released the game. That was actually going to be one of the mechanics. Because you notice when you shoot somebody when they're already on the ground, they pop up. I was
Mm.
actually going to have the bodies like knock into other like guards to knock them over. That was actually in the game, but it caused so much glitching. I just had to pull it. It just didn't work out right.
Well, that's understandable. That happens.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you sort of notice like the subtle things in the game. Like it's kind of delayed. I'm sort of watching you play this game, but when somebody throws a knife at you, if you can, like if your aim is well enough, you can shoot the knife in midair, and then yeah, or the lanterns, you could shoot them down and they explode and everything. I thought that was the subtle details I like. I want to add more of that to the game.
So, is that guy wearing a mask or is he supposed to be black? I don't can't really
Yeah,
tell.
he's wearing a mask.
Okay.
No, no, there's well, there is like some dead prisoners in the background just because, and this really didn't happen like a gulag. I'm like really over dramatizing a little bit, but yeah, yeah. There's like bodies in the background and everything. Well, what I'm saying is like the gulags. I don't think this ever happened in the gulags like that, but I just find that funny. There are no other prisoners in the game that you fight. It's just stuff, different varieties of guards.
That's pretty interesting. Now, these doors along the way here, you plan on implementing anything into those? Maybe people come out of them, or you can go in them and get something.
Yeah, I used to have that feature too. I don't have any plans for it, but yeah, at one time you could actually walk through those doors and go to a different part of the map. I don't know. If anybody's watching this and they want me to like see if I could throw that back in, I mean, if enough people ask for it, maybe I could try to work it back into the game.
You
But
know what this really seems like to me is actually a really good game for the content editor. It really seems like, I mean, I know this would be quite a undertaking to add that into it. I'm sure it's no easy task, but the way that it's laid out here, it seems like user submitted levels might be perfect for this kind of game.
yeah, well, I don't know. I think yeah, I know that Ouya has that capability of like user content. I haven't seen it implemented in any game, or at least maybe you guys have. I don't know, but
I think Duck Game might have it,
that
or
game
at
has
least they were
levels.
going to. Yeah.
Oh, like well, I know they had the editor. I just didn't know you could like share them with other people. And I don't know, I'm kind of sidetracked here, but I would want to say that the Ouya definitely needs more online like features, like a friends list or something, and like more of a community in the interface. A friends list and what are your friends playing on the Ouya, and this friend made this content, kind of like the Steam Workshop. I would want to see that on Ouya, but that's probably asking for too much at this point in time.
Maybe we can get that like integrated into Booty Call somehow.
Yeah, no, yeah, that'd be great. Like, and you know what? I think that uh, whether or not like the Ouya servers and all that stuff, if everything really just shuts down and they close up shop, I do think that the hacking community might resurrect this somehow. But you know, who knows? Who knows what will happen?
Yeah, that was very true. I mean, I saw that as a possibility as well, that the hacking community might, because I mean, if you look at historically consoles that have gone under, like take the Dreamcast for example, you'll still see every like year, maybe 2 years, somebody will come out with a brand new video game for the Dreamcast, and it's like, really?
Yeah, I like that. I really do like that. The hacking community sticks around even though the console has been long dead. I like that.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So what about future projects? Do you think that, or maybe you do have something going on in addition to this, or you think you're going to stick with this for a while, or just you're done after this?
Well, I thought about that. I mean, technically, with this engine, I could always reuse it and everything, for other projects. Uh, you could shoot those boxes open, right? Uh, but yeah, yeah, you could stuff it. Um, but yeah, I could always reuse this engine, but I don't. I think that my next project will not be a platformer game. I think with platforming, I think it's a one and done thing. I just wanted to see if I could do it and how I can make it unique from the other 500,000 platformer games that are out. You know.
And how do you feel you've done so far with this one?
Well, I actually I think right now it might need another feature or two, but yeah, I think it sticks out pretty well from other platformers. And definitely the controls. I think I wouldn't be surprised seeing them used in another game. The weird jump, the jump action on the trigger and everything. I don't know. For some reason, I could see that being used more in other games.
Yeah, yeah, it took me a little bit to get it at first, but once you get, 5 minutes into it, you really kind of,
You're like,
I
I
don't know.
hate.
No, no, no. See, as like
Uh,
I say, it seems like it's actually pretty intuitive once you kind of get into it,
yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I should kind of have like maybe a tutorial in this game. I
Oh
hate
God,
hate
please don't.
tutorials. Though. I really do. I hate tutorial levels. It's a waste of a level.
It really is. I mean, I'm sorry, but if you can't, I mean, like there's legitimately games that come out that it's like, what in the heck do you do here? Like, this is insane. I've spent 30 minutes trying to figure out how to move around, kind of thing. But for the most part, if you can't figure out how to move around in a platformer on your own, yeah, no, come on.
Yeah, but like the boxes too. I mean, that's another like sort of Castlevania thing. Like when I first played Castlevania, I didn't know that you could hit those like torches and like power ups would pop out. I didn't know that. I tried to play through the game like just with the whip, and that's something you just learn on your own. So that kind of style, I wanted to implement in this. The same frustration when I was a kid.
Which
I'm
guy?
sorry.
Oh, he just appeared.
Oh yeah, I keep forgetting there's like a slight delay on this.
Yeah. Probably, and this is just a feature ad that I think would be pretty cool because one of my favorite Nintendo 64 games was Perfect Dark, and if you remember in that game, if you ever got a chance to play it, they had a rocket launcher that you could. It was like a heat-seeking, and of course you couldn't do this, I think, on this platformer, but you would essentially be able to like launch the rocket and then you could take control of the rocket as if you were like is like a first person from the rocket's perspective. I'm
Oh
pretty sure that's
really?
Perfect Dark. Yeah, but on this type of platformer, I think that'd be kind of cool to have like a heat seeking rocket or something that it goes for the nearest guy no matter
Yeah,
where they are. That'd be kind of cool.
yeah. I do actually think. Yeah, I want to add more weapons to the game for sure. Uh, a little more variety. But yeah, and that's another thing. If anybody wants to recommend like a weapon, like you just did, I mean, yeah, I would totally consider that because the
Oh,
engine is quite easy to add more stuff to if I really needed to.
from your feedback so far, what have people been saying on like the forums?
Well, I mean, I guess some people like it at least. I don't know, but yeah, the melee that I mentioned before, the melee feature, that was one of the things I was like, oh yeah, Other than that, I mean, the controls are weird, and some people like commented about that. Um, I just don't feel like I should change it because once you get used to it, it's like you're playing a twin stick shooter, and you don't have to take your fingers off the sticks. So I might just be stubborn about that and just like keep it as it is. That's one thing. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like, just the controls are a little quirky, and other than that, I guess people like it for the most part.
Now, I would definitely keep the controls the way that they are. I mean, like I said, it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you have it, I mean, it seems pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, yeah. That's sort of the thing. Yeah, yeah, like sort of yeah, trial and error, I guess. But yeah, the whole mechanic of the game is you have to pretty much everything you see, you have to shoot like there's no keys or anything. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting, and the bounce panels too, the plates bounce bullets off of that. That was gonna be. I actually had. You could see in the. I have like a blog too. I'm just. I'm basically just like posting all this stuff right now, like just like promoting everything. But now I have a blog that shows like one of the original prototypes of this game, and the bullets were supposed to bounce off of everything. And a lot of times when I was playing that version of the game, I was killing myself because that you can't control the bounce, and the bullet will find its way like back to you eventually. So that's why I threw in the plates. Yeah.
That makes sense. Well, Brandon, as a clearly somebody who's now a complete expert in this game, what are your thoughts on it? What do you feel would be a good improvement, if any, on this game? You're so original, man. You could have said like the background bricks could have been red, but no, just nothing, huh?
Thank you.
All right. Well then, uh, we've got we've got a few people watching. I'm surprised nobody's commenting yet on things they'd like to see. So, if you guys who are watching the YouTube video right now have any suggestions or questions, please feel free to ask. I mean, we can only ask so much, and then we start getting redundant here. So, because we already know.
Yeah, you seem to keep passing that secret there too.
Oh,
The secret.
look at the wall, man! For the love of
Yeah.
God.
You ever play Legend of Zelda?
Yeah, clearly there's a bomb that can go off there. Get a grenade or something.
I figure I threw the tip in there for anybody that's watching, and I give them maybe a secret about the game.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it looks like you might have to have that just open up the oh no, there it goes. Um, I forget who sent it to me. It might have been a Facebook's post or something, but it was pretty funny. It was a picture of like the outside of this bank where clearly somebody had like crashed through the wall and they had to like repatch it so the bank looked all like messed up and the wall was like off color a little bit and like the
Uh,
caption if Legend of Zelda taught me anything, it's that there's treasure behind this wall or something like that.
that's great.
I got I gotta find it now because I'm gonna. Uh,
You're gonna tweet that picture.
yeah, I'll put it in the YouTube chat for everybody. Of course it was. Of course it was on Reddit. Why not?
Oh, you got through that level. That's good.
Yeah, here it is. So,
Yeah, I
oh
think this is
well.
like the first time I've seen somebody play this version. Like, I think somebody did a let's play of the original version. I don't know. I just find it interesting watching people play my game. Well, that's good though. I like that. Because it gives me an idea of like how people are thinking like when they play this game. Oh yeah.
I posted the image on the YouTube chat, but obviously you're gonna have to reconstruct it because for some reason it wouldn't let me post like
Oh yeah, yeah. The HTTP, yeah.
which I just don't understand. But whatever. I know.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. 28 seconds, I think. In the original version, it was a lot. It was a lot meaner. I think it was like maybe 18 seconds or something like that.
Man, that is mean.
Yeah. That's another thing that's hard for because I played this game so much that I could pretty much speed run it like no problem, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know how to gauge it. I really don't know how to gauge the difficulty. It's really hard.
Well, it's exactly why you're doing what you're doing. Let everybody else take a look at it and see how it goes. I know exactly what you're saying. I myself have about two or three unfinished games that have just been sitting, waiting for me to pick back up and get moving on. And that was one of the things when I had Brandon play one of them. It's like something that I was just so easy for me to just breeze by and be like, oh, I know exactly where everything's at, and I can take this guy down, no problem. And watching Brandon play, it's like, what's it's right there, dude. Come on, like it's so hard
Yeah.
to to gauge it, like you said. Oh, negative zero is commenting that he can hear only two of us talking.
Possibly. Do any of us sound alike?
Well, I don't know. I'm listening to the video now. Now I'm like, it's weird because like listening to myself talk, it's really freaking me out here a little bit. Trying to talk and listen to myself talk. No.
No, I think it should be fine. Oh, really?
Me.
I
Oh,
heard you
wow.
talk.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to repost this. Actually, I don't even think my audio is now. They should be able to hear me. Oh, that
Did you
sucks.
have it just muted to like the video or something? Because we could hear you talk.
Yeah, it was just muted to the video. Oh man, that sucks.
Uh,
It's gonna. It was a good interview too.
oh my
Gotcha.
god, that's so funny.
Cause all right, I had muted myself because like a week ago, Saturday I was doing a live stream with Heroes of Umbra with the developers and stuff, and so I had muted my mic on the XSplit that I use. Yeah, that's an epic fail.
Maybe you could go through the video and just dub yourself in, and
Yeah,
then
that's what I'm gonna have to do.
Oh my god, that is funny.
I
Well,
could,
for all those people who are listening, I mean, really, you I think well, actually no, did we go through like the entire part of the sales and like nothing happened? It was just
I think
pure.
that's what
yeah,
happened.
only you guys heard the sales.
Oh my god,
I
that is
can
hilarious.
easily add that in. I can't remember what other questions I asked later on because I would have to like do it at this precise moment that you answer them.
Oh yeah,
Oh
Oh my
wow.
god, that's so awkward.
you could ask a completely different question and just be like, "Yeah, this developer's crazy. I don't know what he's talking about."
It's like the chickens
Talking
fly.
to himself.
Yeah, and I'm just talking about the game.
Well, since we're at about 43 minutes, we can also just go back and do the
Well, thanks, negative zero, for pointing that out.
Yeah.
I don't know why Turtle Toy didn't do that.
he's probably like, who are these people talking to?
Oh man. Oh boy.
That's funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. Do something. I have to repost it. So like,
Well, the is you're gonna have to
so like,
repost it, but then you're gonna have to like make sure that it times up exactly so that when you're done with the when you're done with the sales, that the rest of the video continues uninterrupted, and then you're gonna go back and cut out us talking right now about you messing up. Otherwise, people are gonna be really confused. So
and then I gotta do the announcement because nobody heard me talk and say that this is the OUYACast episode 58.
Oh
This
boy.
is hilarious.
we've had a few doozies in the history of the OUYAcast, but I think that one
I think
probably takes
I think this one takes the cake. Wow,
nice.
epic
Well,
fail.
yeah, okay. Well, we're at about 45 minutes. So I'll tell you what, Brandon. Since you haven't had a whole lot of talking time, apparently, you can decide what we're doing next. If we're gonna redo the first part, explaining all the deals, or if you just think we should close it out and all that. So take it away, sir.
Well, sorry about that, guys. Well, this has been the OUYAcast episode 58. Um, wow, I can't believe I did that. But anyways, thank you, Dustin, for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
No problem, no problem. If you ever want to get on the show again, if anything big update or you want us to test it out before everybody else, just hit us up.
Okay.
Um,
We're gonna rename this the Steve Cast episode 58.
yeah. So you guys out there in Ouya land can, if you're a developer and you want to hit us up, you can hit us up on Twitter at Ouya Central TV and at Ouya Brew. We do this podcast every week on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's 1 Pacific, I believe. 8,
Sounds right.
3 Central. I don't know. I'm gonna probably mess up. I just stick with Eastern. Anyways, that's it for this week. Join us next week for the episode 59.
Yeah.
Ouya.